So as strategic advisor, I've been challenged to bring in real-world operational experience at the earliest possible moment in the yacht's creation. What that will involve is challenging certain assumptions, pressure testing some decisions to hopefully end up with the most enjoyable ownership experience where things that would come out later down the line are maybe addressed and caught earlier, so easier boat for the crew to operate, more enjoyable boat for the owner. I think historically, if you were to question operational crew, you would find that they would say decisions are made in isolation. Whether an owner has a crew or not, shipyards make decisions based on what they perceive as best practice or as the best decision. And as you bring in crew, things need to change. So I think that was what was missing is, you have engineering in one corner, crew in another corner, operational, management, charter, compliance. So it's trying to bring that knowledge together and join the dots a lot sooner. I think it's becoming more important because owners are expecting more from their yachts. They're becoming more conscious of their yachts, the operational cost, the downtime, the impact. Owners are getting younger in some cases, and they want the boat to operate out the box. I mean, when we talk about spec boats and how close to delivery they're being sold, the owner's expectations is to be able to use the boat and enjoy the boat. So having that input into the yacht's creation should hopefully bring that experience a lot more to the front. I think the changes that you will see or that you are seeing as owners, there are a segment of owners that are becoming more environmentally conscious. There are a segment of owners that have multiple yachts or really the crew are close to the owner. So the ability for the crew to do their job effortlessly and have as minimal impact on the owner's enjoyment is becoming very important. There is a segment of owners that are probably quite socially conscious of things. So to get in as soon as possible and to make these boats easy to operate, fun to operate, and more predictable to operate should hopefully result in less downtime for owners and a better experience. In some respects, you are translating what looks good on a drawing, what looks good on CAD, what looks good on paper, and you are trying to take experience, not just my experience, experience of a great many number of people, and saying, okay, in reality, how does this play out? How does it work? Is that in the right place? That fixture, that fitting, is the light? And just trying to envisage the yacht in operations to catch some things which are easy to fix when it's a line on a piece of paper or a drawing. It's much harder to fix when the boat's operational. Yachts move by their very nature. They go out in adverse weather, they do different things. When you're actually operating them and the practical realities of launching tenders, what condition can we launch the tender in? Okay, does that fit the ownership profile and the usage profile of the yacht? Is the storage locations appropriate for how the yacht's going to be used? You need to go through the motions with the yacht and live and breathe that experience and that operational experience to be able to translate that back into the shipyard to say, that's great on paper, but the reality is somewhat different often. If we were to look at Sophia, the latest yacht ready for delivery from Heesen, the owner has put a beach club in the back of it. So there's bikes, e-bikes that need charging, there's sea-bobs that need charging, there is a whole raft of inflatable water toys that need inflating. They all need cleaning, they all need inflating, they all need stowing, put in somewhere. The wetsuits, the life jackets, all of these things. When you operate it, you understand, you have a good understanding of how these things will be used. So how do we store them? Where do we store them? How do we clean them? How do we dry them? And what do we do with them all? It's the same with galleys, is have a professional chef assist in designing the galley. I'm not a professional chef. I have a good idea about galleys, but professional chefs know what works and what flows. Same for in chief stewardesses, for pantry layouts, for laundry layouts, for crew mess. That's experience which is lived at sea. And if we can bring that back into the yard at the early stages, then hopefully we end up with a better product for it.
Yep.
I think they're going to become quieter. I think they should become more data-driven. Owners are progressively more conscious over the way their yacht is performing from an environmental perspective. Is it being operated efficiently? Data should allow you to unlock that information to get a real-world understanding of how much does my yacht cost me, how efficient is it being operated, what's the predicted maintenance, planned maintenance, have a far greater oversight of their yacht. Now, that doesn't mean going down into a granular level of detail. It can be distilled into an overview, but I think ultimately we're moving that way. And as owners get younger, and there's a lot of people in technology, AI's booming, there's NFTs, we live on devices these days, so the information is available. It's just about extracting it. I think AI is an interesting tool to monitor and predict future maintenance, reliability of equipment, validating design choices through aggregating data. Are we making the right choices at the start? Is the yacht performing as we anticipated during the design phase? There is so much that can be done with AI from an operational perspective for crew documentation, verification of documentation, generating spreadsheets and information itineraries. It's endless. The benefits with the connection of AI data, things become far more predictable. If you, as an example, if you're going from A to B, how long is it going to take me? How much is it going to cost? We can actually work out how much that trip's going to cost you in real terms through at what point is it going to trigger a service on a main engine. Now, this information is out there, but it's about pulling it to one central source. And with input added, you'll get the outcome, should get the outcome. And insurance, how is the yacht being operated? How is it being maintained? Insurance is a huge segment of the industry that would benefit from data. Heesen's at an interesting point now under the new ownership and the new CEO, both of who are innovators. They're creative. They are technologically driven, and their past is in an environment where things had to be predictable, things had to be reliable, and data was a massive part. So I think they bring a tremendous amount of knowledge and experience, which has proven to be successful. So if we can bring that into Heesen and make the process more predictable, make it more reliable, I think it's a good place to be.